Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a little story time and a channel update. So I'll make a little mark down below so you can skip to the channel update in case you don't want to hear about my very weird day yesterday. So my day yesterday started at 3 a.m. I heard a weird noise a few times, and at first I thought, oh, it's just the dog. It's the little dog, Tally. She often sleeps in another room, so it's like she's just moving around doing something. But then I thought, wait, she has this collar that she likes to jingle whenever she wakes up. She shakes it out. It's highly annoying. And I wasn't hearing that noise at all. I was hearing no jingling. I was like, okay, maybe it's the other dog, Porthos. He's jumping on and off the bed or something. But then I realized, no, Porthos is right next to me. So then I started to wake up more, and I was like, maybe it's my neighbor's cat. Like, sometimes it wakes up in the middle of the night and starts yelling, and normally it doesn't wake me up, but I was like, maybe it's playing. Cats can be nocturnal. And so I sat there and really listened, and I heard the noise again, and it was definitely something scrabbling. That's how I would describe it, like just scrabble. And I was like, okay, that doesn't sound like the cat, and it does sound like it's happening here where I live. So I got up and I walked into the hallway, and the noise stopped, which is good and bad. The good news is it's probably, I don't know, not a person, not gonna attack me. But the bad news is it's not mechanical. It's not, like the air conditioner or something. It is an animal that heard me move and is now scared. And so I'm like, okay, it's 3 a.m. and there is an animal in my house. What now? So I stood in the hallway for a while, and it was quiet because I was there, and I was like, it's 3 a.m. I'm not like dressed to handle a wild animal. So I got back in bed and listened and determined that whatever it was in my utility closet, and the utility closet door was closed. So then there were some internal debates. If it was a rodent, something small, it could have slipped under the door and gotten out. But if it were a rodent, I'll tell you, my little dog would have been awake and losing her mind. She is definitely some sort of ratting dog. Dogs that were bred to hunt rats. That is in her nature. And she was dead asleep and did not care. So I'm thinking, like, I don't think it's a rodent. It also isn't leaving the utility closet, which, if it were a rodent, I think it would be moving around more. So my theory was that it was a bat. Anyway, I decided that dealing with this at 3 a.m. wasn't a good idea, because if it was a bat and it fluttered at me, there might have been some screaming on my end. I'm not afraid of bats, but nobody wants something to fly in their face, right? And plus with the two dogs, who knows? Again, Tally has that hunter instinct, so it's like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go back to bed. The closet door is closed. I'm going to wake up and get dressed and put on my shoes and pump myself up and open that closet door. So I slept like not at all. And I got up as per usual at 5 a.m. and got dressed, and I was very, very slow. I didn't sleep, so I was much slower than usual. And I like to sit and eat breakfast and just kind of zone out for a while. And I was like, I'll drink my coffee first so I can be like ready, Okay, so then I open my back door so like to go outside, because if it was a bat, I was gonna try to like guide it toward the door. I got dressed, and while I was getting dressed, the animal in my utility closet started tweeting. It was a bird. So I was like, okay, a bird is better than a bat because birds don't carry rabies. So that's the good news. The bad news was everything else that happened next. So I opened the utility closet and no bird flies out because, of course, it's trapped. Otherwise, it would never have gone into my closet. And so the way it got trapped was this. Americans have very frequently something called central air or central heating. Depends on where you live in the country. It depends on how old your home is. But instead of putting in like an air conditioning unit for one room, it pumps air through the entire house, or in my case, condo, apartment. And so you have this closet where your heater and your part of your air conditioner live, the utility closet. So the rest of the air conditioner is actually outside, and in my case it's on the roof. So there's like this big unit on the roof, and it pipes in the cold air to the central distribution. That's my understanding. I am not an air conditioner specialist, but this is what I know. And then the heating, I think, happens inside the condo. So like the way mine is set up is I've got heating on the bottom and like this air conditioning situation up top, and then air is piped in. Definitely the roof factors into this. So I was like, okay, it's possible the bird somehow got through the unit on the roof. Don't know how. I've never seen it. I've never been on the roof, and it's now like in the air conditioner. I have opened up the air conditioner before, so this was a possibility, but it didn't sound like where the tweeting was coming from, especially not the part that I've opened before. So the other option for the utility closet was that it was somehow in my laundry machine. And so here's the other thing about Americans and laundry machines. I don't know. I know many places you still hang dry your clothes and don't have dryers, but I have a dryer, and I love having a dryer. When I lived in China, no dryer. We hang dried all of our clothes. We had lines out front, but I ended up drying most of my clothes inside in my kitchen because people stole my clothes. Didn't like that at all. But here's the thing about dryers. Socks, way fluffier. Like, you do not get a fluffy sock with line drying. It doesn't happen. So, just gonna say, I love having a dryer. So, the dryer emits steam, right? Because you've got your wet clothes in there. The dryer heats them up, tumbles them, and the air has to go outside because otherwise you've got steam in your house, and that's gonna ruin your house. So they have vents. The vent, in my case, here's the dryer, there's this vent that goes up into the ceiling, and then it went across the ceiling all the way across my entire apartment to the outside. So I've got this bird that's clearly trapped somewhere in my closet. It's not in the open. It is inaccessible, and the tweeting is kind of loud, but I can't figure out where it's coming from. Especially because whenever I approach, the bird goes quiet, of course, because it's scared. So I went outside and looked at my vent for my dryer because I can see it on the wall of the condo. And they all have these little like round mesh coverings, except that mine has been bent fully out of place. So there's like a hole and the vent should be like this, but it's like this. So I was like, okay, it's got to be the dryer because that hole is perfectly sized for a bird. Now the bird had to travel pretty far to get where it was. Like that was a long journey, and then what I think happened at the end is it sort of like tumbled down toward the dryer and couldn't get back up through the tube. It's this like metal tube thing. It's like flexible anyway, and it was stuck. So okay, now it took me a good portion of the morning to figure that out. You know, I was walking around outside, I was opening up parts of my air conditioner and my heater and kind of like poking around, got all my tools out, and I'm just trying to figure out, you know, what this bird is doing. And then I'm like, okay, I'll turn on the dryer and it'll push air at the bird and the bird will want to leave. So I did that, and it did want to leave. Actually, it started making noises. I could hear it trying to move, but it couldn't. So then I was like, okay, this bird is stuck. It is not getting out on its own. Now, the thing that you do in this situation normally is you pull your dryer away from the wall, unplug it, and detach the metal tube that is venting the steam into the vent that goes outside, and then catch the bird and let it out. The problem for me is that I have a stackable washer dryer, so the washer's on the bottom, the dryer's on the top, and it fits the closet perfectly, to the point where I have no idea how they set it up to begin with. Like, the amount of space back there is none. And I'm sort of staring at it, and I was wiggling it to one side and wiggling it to the other, but there really wasn't any room to maneuver. So I did what I usually do in this kind of situation, which is I texted everyone I know. Like, when I can't solve a problem, groupthink. And most of my friends don't live near me, but I have been striking up a friendship with a neighbor, and I texted her and I was like, so there's a bird in my apartment. And she came down and helped me. So the first thing that we did together was, so she brought her stepladder, which was taller than mine, and managed to get like above my dryer, like, and there just isn't that much space, but she sort of wedged herself between the doorway and the dryer and reached all the way back there to detach the metal venting hose from the ceiling. And that was, the first idea. I was thinking, okay, if the bird doesn't have to fly straight up, if we just put it down, like, gravity will help us. And then we attached like a plastic bag, a garbage bag with holes in it, to the bottom, and hoped, like, okay, the bird maybe will make another escape attempt, will fall down the tube to the bottom, and then into the black bag. I can grab the bag, let the bird outside. This did not happen. The bird did not want to move. I don't want to say it was happy where it was, but it also wasn't gonna move. I tried turning on the dryer again with no heat, just air, to think like it's gonna blow air at the bird and encourage it to move, and then maybe like fall down the little chute that we made for it. This did not work. I put peanuts in the bag thinking like it's gotta be hungry, like this poor bird. That didn't work. I didn't hear it move at all. It was tweeting a lot. It was like I knew it was alive. It was making lots of noise, but it wasn't. I didn't hear that scrabbling sound I had heard earlier. So it wasn't moving. So this was like a day-long affair. I mean, at one point I like tried to move my dryer and I was like, I'm gonna shake it. I'm gonna shake this bird into the chute. And I was worried about the bird. Like, I looked it up. Sparrows, which is what I was pretty sure it was, have to eat half their body weight in a day. I'm like, I don't think there's any water in my dryer, so like I was worried about this bird, and it wasn't working. So then around 4 or 5, my neighbor's off work and she's like, I'm gonna come back with my husband and we'll see what we can do. So they came down and her husband ended up, one of the problems we were having is we just couldn't reach the hose where it connected to the dryer, and that was definitely where the bird was. It was either like right there or right behind there and in the dryer, but it was right by the connection, and we just couldn't reach it because even from above the connection is pretty low on the dryer, so then you had to reach all the way down again, and we couldn't do it. We couldn't get on either side of the dryer. So her husband ended up climbing all the way on top of the dryer, which I don't recommend. And he was able to reach with his long arms. Although he didn't disconnect it. What did he do at this time? There was a bend in the tube and he was able to unbend it, and so their thought was maybe like the bird couldn't go down the chute because when we'd moved it before, we'd caused this little bend that had blocked it. But this yielded no results. And then, oh my gosh, they apparently had 2 friends coming to visit for dinner. 2 friends coming from like a different city. And everyone's vaccinated. But I hadn't planned on having company in my house. So here's the thing, and I was going to talk about this later too. I've mentioned it before on my channel. I have a chronic illness that is both a daily problem for me, but also has flares. And in the flares, I don't do much at all. I can't move very often, and my house is a mess, right? Like, if you can't move, you're not cleaning. And I try to save all my energy to take care of my dogs and like make sure we all get fed. So I had been in a flare up until Wednesday, and this bird saga was Thursday. So Wednesday I woke up and felt better, and the first thing I did was clean my kitchen. So my kitchen was mostly clean, except the second thing I did was cook a bunch of food, which was good, and the food was good, but I didn't destroy my kitchen, but I took my newly clean kitchen and made it dirty again. And while the bird saga was going on, I did some cleaning. The other thing about my chronic illness is that I often don't turn the lights on in my home. It's one of the reasons my lighting in my videos can be a little bit weird. Right now I'm lit by my window and then by my computer screen, so it's like a little eerie. I'm aware of this, but I am really light sensitive all the time, so I don't turn on my lights. And so while I do, of course, like sweep and vacuum and clean with 2 dogs, there's often some dog hair I don't notice. So now, after over a year of having literally no visitors in my home, and after an illness flare that knocked me out for like a week, there are 4 people, 2 of them total strangers, 2 of them people who I'm like trying to befriend in my home, and I'm like noticing every speck of dust, there were many. I also like wasn't dressed for this. Like I wasn't in my pajamas. I'd gotten dressed, but I'd gotten dressed to like exercise. So I wasn't looking my best. I wasn't there to impress. So I'm like horribly embarrassed while 4 people are assaulting my dryer, trying to get a bird out of it. And then, of course, I have my 2 dogs who are flipping out because they're people, and they love people, but they also, again, we've had no visitors for over a year, so, like, maybe all of our social skills are not where they used to be at their peak. Oh, man. So, this was, like, amusing, but, like, highly embarrassing for me. Anyway, so what they managed to do was get the smallest among us wedged between my heater and my dryer back there, and she managed to get the tube off of the dryer, and we thought the bird was in the tube, so we all ran it outside and dumped it out, and it was just like feathers. So the bird was in the dryer still. I actually thought there were 2 birds at this point because some of the tweeting was so impressive, but I guess it was just the one bird. So we're passing her back like tools, and she's just wedged in there, and she managed to get the bird into a trash bag. Not like closed or anything. We weren't suffocating the bird, but it was just a way of holding it. And then we went outside, and it was just this like little fledgling that had made a huge error and lived in my home for a day with me. We let it go. But that was the bird saga of yesterday. Started at 3 a.m. ended maybe around 5:30 with, again, 4 other people in my house, my 2 dogs going nuts, and this poor little bird. So, I think I'm still friends with the people I'm trying to befriend. I'm trying to think of like a bird appropriate gift to get them because they really helped me out. Really was not getting that bird out by myself, and I was very stressed about it. Okay, so that was the bird saga. The other thing I wanted to talk about was, just sort of a channel update. So I mentioned my chronic illness in the bird saga, but I am chronically ill, and what that means is on occasion I duck out, can't do my hobbies. It is very hard to make a video when I can't tolerate any light. I also feel the need to like brush my hair before making a video or put on some makeup, and that is very difficult to do, again, in the dark. Or I have something called allodynia, so sometimes brushing my hair is incredibly painful. Which is all to say, I'm still here, I'm okay. I got my treatment, which I get every few months, and it takes a couple days to kick in, but I think it has kicked in for the most part. So I'm doing a lot better than I was a couple weeks ago. And yeah, so I should be able to make more videos. I've had people asking me about my true crime. I am still working on that. I had a bit of a technology setback, so I have this video that I'm really excited to show you, or to make, I guess. And I had this whole presentation. I had organized my facts so well, and I was feeling so good about it. And then Microsoft deleted it. Like, really? I mean, people are like, did you check? I did. I checked. I looked. I searched. I cried. It's gone. The information is not entirely gone from, my head, of course. So I have pretty much remade it, but that was pretty demoralizing. I'm gonna say, yeah, those sort of technology setbacks where like things should just work. I know anyone who makes videos, I'm sure, has had a lot where it turns out your audio didn't record, or something got corrupted. I had that once where the video got entirely corrupted, and I was like, okay, I have audio. What do I do now? harder without audio for ASMR. But yeah, it was just a demoralizing setback, but I will hopefully be making that video this week, and it is going to be a good one. Lots of crime, so much crime with this topic. I think it's actually going to be 2 videos, one that focuses on like the general crisis that encouraged all the crime, and then one where I focus on like a specific notorious criminal. So yeah, I'm still working on that. I updated my Patreon page. To be honest, I don't have any patrons, and I never have, and that's fine. I can tell you what's on there. There are a couple little videos like behind the scenes, me chatting. I think there are like 2 where I'm singing, if you want to know what that sounds like. I was gonna add another bloopers video. I think I'm just gonna put them there. And the other thing I've done is made audio recordings of my true crime videos, so those are available for download if you ever want to just like listen to them sans YouTube. So if there is anything you want to see on my Patreon, let me know. Yeah, so let me know. But otherwise, I will keep coming at you with the true crime videos and another map video. I got another request for the UK again. People seem to like the UK. Because I was thinking about doing Mexico, but someone asked for the UK. I've made my little cheat sheet. I have it here of pronunciations for Welsh. So a lot of the phonemes in Welsh or the spellings are different. So I can attempt to read some Welsh names. Although I really struggle with like it's the double L where you do like llaeth. I can do it if it's at the front of a word, but when it's in the middle, I have not yet learned how to make my mouth do that. Anyway, that's what's coming up. So thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. Hope everyone is doing really, really well,